a stream dick. I did just hit record for that too.
Right, the first second.
The first second that any of these guys are going to hear is stream dick.
Dick.
I mean, that is a whole different. I don't think that's YouTube. It's something else. OnlyFans, something of that nature.
Yeah.
Stream dick. Why don't they have an episode or a website like that yet? It is that website.
You are a sweet summer child if you don't believe.
I mean,
they don't have stuff like that.
It probably exists. That exact website probably exists. I hope, for the sake of people on the internet, it's there.
You are such a good boy.
I am a good. I am a good Samaritan. I treat the internet kindly.
So, welcome everybody to episode 10.
It is episode 10. I just spilled my water. I'm good. Hey, how's it going, George?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Josh?
I am fancy.
Fancy.
It was the word that came to my mind.
All right.
I'm sparkling in my own sweat in this room right now. It is hot, and we turned off the air conditioning for you folks. So you don't hear the entire time.
We're just sitting in a room with two computers
that are
on and causing us pain
and melting and stuff. I'm also in a long sleeve shirt, but I'm afraid of the sun. So
it's true. He needs to be afraid of the sun, though.
I am a porcelain doll.
Yes.
And that is probably the closest thing that I can classify myself as.
A hairy porcelain doll.
Hairy porcelain doll. I was made perfectly, and all those that worship me love me.
So perfect that you can't take 5 steps outside without an entire bottle of sunscreen.
It's alright, so you know how like in Demon Slayer, I go to this a lot.
I don't know.
I'm watching Demon Slayer currently. I'm on a Demon Slayer kick.
But you don't read?
I don't read. That's why I'm waiting on the dub, and I've 3 episodes into the dub, waiting weekly for the next episode and trying to avoid the spoilers of, the hour-long episode that's coming out for the finale. That's next week. Actually, tomorrow. I'm sorry. Tomorrow. So I'm going to have to avoid the internet for, days.
Hear that, everybody? Hop into his stream. Spoil everything.
I hate you all. So yeah, how a demon slayer demon walks out into the sunlight and it's takes 3 seconds for them to just erupt and then they die? Yeah, that's me. Or you could do the other option, chop my head off.
You just said you're a vampire.
Good. That is pretty much what I am. I am Daywalker.
You are not a Daywalker. That's the entire shtick we are talking about. You are not a Daywalker.
I am a Moonwalker. I would do well as a Dark Elf. One of the ones that lives into the Dark Realm, or the ones that only get to go out into the woods at night. That is me. I am Dark Elf.
I was unintentional. That now I actually have a normal human sleep schedule.
You've humanized yourself.
I've gotten too used to having to get my ass up in the morning.
That's fair. So, George,
what is up, sir?
What have we decided on for this episode?
Yes.
I mean, that's actually the best way to put it. Guys, we are going to be talking general talk, fun, and chill, along with lots of video game talk. Because
just random what we want.
Because George really wants to talk about Diablo.
I can't help it.
It's come to that.
It's like crack, man.
It's
you shoot the demons and then you get the numbies.
So I'm gonna be honest. I watched a streamer briefly playing Diablo, and it almost made me buy Diablo.
You should. Then we can play together. That could be. It's cross.
I was gonna just ask.
I think it's
Is it cross-platform?
I believe it is.
Because if it's cross-platform and I can play it on my PC with my Xbox controller, that's not an Xbox, then I can play it.
I want to say that it is, mostly because I see that I used to play with online, because
somebody that you used to know,
my old WoW buddy.
I'm gonna be real with you. There's like couple of counter arguments as to why I shouldn't get it though. One counter argument being I'm about to get FF16 next week, and my life is dedicated to that.
Just like it was dedicated to Octopath Traveler 2.
It's almost done. I have one more character story to do, and actually I'm going to be working on it while you're playing the demo tonight. All right, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to kill it off. It's going to be done.
We'll see.
And my other reason would be if I ever step away from Zelda, which FF16 again is going to pull me from, this tends to be my trend. I go from one game, I hope that I get it done. It's funny because I tell people, I'm like, I have a deadline. I have to beat this game by this date.
Then he never completes it.
And then I never complete it because I can't make my deadline. And then I feel bad.
You're not going to finish Zelda anyway.
I'm not going to. You're right. I'm never going to
flat out will not finish that game, period.
It's never going to happen because I get too obsessed with building cool things, or I get too obsessed with, hey, look, there's a shrine over there. And then
piece of candy.
And I go completely off the trail. Actually, I did finish one of the 4 main quest missions.
Lovely.
I feel so good about it.
Lovely.
And the only reason I was there, I found it accidentally. I wasn't after the main story. I was like, oh, wait, I found it. Oops. That's what happened. It was an actual oops.
Oops.
I was mad.
I didn't mean to fight the boss.
I was mad that I found a story quest. I was like, damn it. This is not where I want to be.
I wish I could do that, but man, yeah, no, I get too sidetracked with side quests, and then I just don't finish the game. I'm just like, man, this is starting to get boring.
That's what Breath of the Wild did to me. I never finished Breath of the Wild. So what did I think I was going to do with Tears of the Kingdom? Same thing. I've had 2 years to think about it. That's what it's been. I've had 2 years to think about my mistakes, and I've come back for round 2.
Full circle, man.
Like, we're back. Here we go. Only this one lets you build things? Ooh. Like, now that's the biggest problem. You've given a kid that likes Lego blocks a game that has Lego. Like, congratulations. I'm never gonna finish.
Then there's
this.
just the ADD takes over, like, let's do this.
I wonder what I can build this time. And I still have yet to figure out how to build the giant flying machines that blow up like entire goblin dens. But like, I did successfully. Okay, so the giant goblins that are like kind of big fat guys with a club.
Yeah.
Okay, so like they happened to have like a steel cage that was in there. And I don't know that nothing in that game is meant to be done the way it is. The devs pretty much guaranteed, like, here's the way you're supposed to do it, but here's 5 other ways you could handle it.
Here's your other 50 options.
So, like, steel cage sitting next to giant goblin, and they also have a campfire in this goblin den. So, why are all these pieces important? I picked up the steel cage, I put it over top of the goblin, and drug him to the campfire and sat him on top of the campfire, which slowly killed him until he died.
That's so messed up.
That was my solution because I had already died trying to fight this guy like 4 times. I'm like, never again.
Not this time.
I decided to sneak away, find the cage, pick it up, drop it on his head, and drag him to the campfire where he died. And I was so happy.
See, I love how you killed him like that because in Diablo 4, I'm doing like a poison build.
Yes!
So there are a few times where it's like the end of a fight or like even like against like a boss or an elite mob or something. And I'll just be like, well, the main health bar is done. I'm gonna go over here now. You're done. Bye.
Oh my gosh, speaking of poisons, that game that I was telling you about, that I was the Outlast game.
Yes.
Which is like scary, gonna chase you in the dark, gonna kill you just because you walk past
slasher film that you play.
It's a slasher film, and it's not good for people like me that get scared easy.
And me neither. I
don't
play any of those games.
It's a bad thing. So they have this thing in the game that they call psychosis, right? So basically, these like lunatics can spray gas in your face, which start making you see things, and your screen starts wigging out. Well, part of the psychosis is that your friend is going to like they make AIs that are enemies to look like your friend, and they'll have their name across the top of their head.
Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean.
You'll think you're standing next to your friend, or your friend's coming towards you, and then all of a sudden they shank you with a machete. And you're like, it's not you! No! And so, like, the psychosis really screws you up. And, like, they'll have that happen to you even when you haven't been sprayed with gas. But when you've been sprayed with gas, you see all kinds. Like,
just like in real life.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Like, it's fascinating. I love it. It's not a game that I want to play long hours of, but once I got going into it, I found myself addicted. We lost the first mission 4 times, and it takes 40 minutes to finish the mission. So we spent 4 hours just beating one mission, and I'm still not tired of the game. Like, I'm like, we're good. Like, let's keep going.
For Diablo 4, the gameplay it's honestly very repetitive. But there's so much there. Like, poison build can like be like 10 different ways to actually deal damage. Because like with my character, you can use a bow, you can use a crossbow, you can use a sword, you can use daggers, and then there's like, I don't know, like 20, 30 different skills that you can put on, but you can only actually use like 7.
Is it a class level up system, or is it a character level up?
Class. Like at the very beginning, you create a character, you choose a class, and then there's like a tree, and you just go like to different levels of the tree, and like that's where you kind of decide what type of damage you actually want to do. You spend your points
during level ups,
yes,
depending on what character build you want.
Yes.
So you have options.
And they make it. I wish they had loadouts. I would do actual experimenting with different things if there were loadouts, because right now you have to like reset your skills.
Do you also have different armors, weapons? Stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, there's like what they call aspects, which are basically almost bonus skills on items.
Okay.
Where it's like whenever you like, for one of the ones I have is whenever you use your caltrops, if you also drop 4 or 5 stun grenades on top of it.
They have stun grenades inside of a game that's kind of medieval.
Yes, perfect. There's also magic and shit, so don't think about it.
All right, I won't think about it.
You're thinking too hard.
I'm going too hard about it. Right. The game that has Lilith on the cover, I should think anything's able to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and like they have that, and then like even on certain items, like one of the buffs, like rather than just like, oh, you get plus 10 agility or plus 10 willpower or whatever, they also have like straight up just buffing the abilities themselves, where on one piece I had like plus 2 shut up. You hate that show, don't bring it up. It's like plus 2 to penetrating shot, so it makes that move even better. More damage. Bigger numbies.
Bigger numbers.
Everybody loves bigger numbies.
It kind of looks like to me, the game looks like a hack and slash Dungeons and Dragons. That's where I'm at.
That'd be fair.
That's kind of what
I'll certainly give that to you.
I see that.
I'm sure other people are probably wanting to stab you because of how people can be.
Right.
But I'll give that to you. I'd say that's pretty apt.
I can tell you that I think that the cinematics in that game look fantastic. I think that the cutscenes were good. From what I saw.
The advertised cutscenes are pretty good looking. Like it uses.
It was a ruse to fail.
Well, it doesn't look bad, but like virtually, it's at least to me, it looks like almost everything's done with like the in-game.
Okay.
Like they might tone them up for when they actually like do like kind of the more zoom in stuff.
Right.
But they don't really have, from what I remember, they don't really have a lot of those like, super high fidelity cutscenes.
So it goes the level of like almost like how an MMO always does, or like Final Fantasy 14, where like it does zoom in cameras to make the cutscenes happen, and it kind of just looks kind of like bad photoshopped almost. That's the way I look at it, like cookie cutter clip art that's like placed on a background.
Or like you'll see everybody being serious, and then all of a sudden you'll see someone with a Moogle pitchfork.
Right. Somebody drew a really pretty background and stuck a really pretty character on top of it, but they didn't have the outlines right. Like, it happens. I get it.
It's still not bad. It still looks good.
Like I said,
what's the ambiance with it?
I looked at the game for like about 30 minutes watching somebody doing it. I thought it looked fantastic. I thought, man, I would have a lot of fun with this. But I also was like, stop. Don't. Know better, because you will not play through this game. You will never get through this game. Like,
you'll probably be like my cousin, just get sidetracked and get to level cap, just doing all the side content.
I know for a fact that the type of gamer that I am is it's put one game in front of me and go, ooh, and then I play that, and then they're like, hey, but what about this other game? And I'm like, here, boy, and then I lose the other game entirely.
See, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm the one dangling the game in front of you right now.
I know you are, and it's semi-compelling, because why? Josh loves to play games with his friends, and then when they're like, hey, you want to play this game with me? And I'm like, okay. And then I stop playing whatever game that I'm supposed to normally be playing. AKA, me, the Nintendo Pokemon streamer, is now playing a slasher film game on my streams because a friend told me, hey, let's do that.
Well, in Diablo, that's the thing. You get to be the slasher.
And suddenly, I start gaining a bunch of followers that are Diablo fans. And then when I go back to Pokemon,
they'll just be, what the hell is this?
Who is this asshole? And what happened to his other stuff? And that's why I stopped
keep guessing.
That's why I stopped being a variety streamer altogether. Because I was like, losing audience halfway through. Okay, bad. So I started to like reel it in a bit.
Mix it up again, baby.
Well, I am going to mix it up a bit again when I go back to Apex Legends. Because I actually am starting to go back to it slowly.
Instead of that, Diablo.
See, this man is bad. Bad influence.
Or a good one.
Or a good one. I'll give that to.
That's the hot game right now, Josh.
It is hot.
He's thinking about it, guys. Almost got him.
It's a hot game, and but Final Fantasy is also going to be a hot game, George. Like for the people with PlayStations, I hate that. By the way, I hate that they didn't give it to you guys on Xbox.
I'm very sad about that too, because I actually have the next gen, and
they were moving in the correct direction with 15,
and when they're like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, when they're
we put our two worst games out on Xbox and it didn't do well. Must be the console,
right? I think it's funny that they think that 13 did bad, because
people eventually did come around to it.
I didn't think 13 was bad. I never actually thought 13 was bad. I liked 13 from the minute I got it all the way to the end. Because the thing that everybody's like, oh, it's so linear. No, it's not.
It is, though.
It is for the first 9 chapters. I get that.
It's linear in everything, and they don't alleviate. That was the problem with it.
So, but the thing that I always tell everybody is, I'm like, Final Fantasy X was super linear too.
They gave you breaks. They let you do stuff. Like, think about how leveling up your characters in 10 was,
where you could go
you have the whole freeform grid. Right. Now, what was it in 13?
And it was chapter based, so you were stuck in each new area.
You were stuck, and even that was a straight line.
I'm gonna guess that Final Fantasy 16 is probably gonna get some of that linear flack, but the only reason that I think that that's gonna be the case is because they're starting to push like narrative storytelling harder than I think that they are the gameplay.
And that's what they should be doing with it anyway. That's how most RPGs should be. Like,
this one actually has a very unique thing that they offer at the beginning of the game. And you'll see it when we go play the demo here in a bit. But they, at the beginning of the game, ask you there's a setting that you can set. Do you want to play gameplay focused or do you want to play story mode focused?
Yeah.
So
I feel like they've done that with a handful of Final Fantasy.
The remake of 7 recently did something similar.
Yeah, where it's just like, hey, you know, a lot of people are just here for story. Just have the story and two-shot all the mobs.
I wish that they had done that with like the Dissidia NT game, because I got halfway through and then couldn't get past a certain thing, and I just said, all right, never mind, I'm done.
Hands up.
And I just said, this game's kind of trash anyway, so I'm already mad about this. And I'm like, and we out. Yeah. So, but I thought that was kind of cool, where it was like, oh, you can make the difficulty harder and play a traditional RPG, or you can be like, hey, Square Enix does really good stories, so let's just watch this movie instead.
Normal boy for me.
Normal boy, that's what I'm doing too. I'm like, I want to get mad at myself like 30 hours into the game when I run into some boss that I don't know how to beat, and then resort to the internet for help.
Oh yeah. With one of my last playthroughs of 7 Remake, I got so mad at Reno. I got so mad at the Reno fight. Jeremy even was like, dude, you need to relax. I'm like, no, he's being an asshole. He's countering everything. Like, I was like that half-second delay into like the actual open gap, and he just countered me every time, and I was pissed.
So I can tell you right now that one thing that's going to be entertaining for me with this game is that the Devil May Cry people were the ones that were in charge of combat. So
it's going to be very stylized.
It's going to be very stylized, fast, and combo perfect things, and I am really bad at those. So I am going to play the run away, shoot fireballs game. That is where I'm going to be, because I'm going to be like, I don't know how to play this game right. Fire, and then run. Like,
full magic build, please.
It is going to be. That is how I played Final Fantasy Type 0. I used the guy with the bow and arrow. Like, yes, there was combos, but I'm like, no, just use the guy that knows how to shoot things from far away. Like, I am such a scaredy cat, and I fully admit to it. And I am the worst gamer. So I'm slightly above. I would say I'm slightly above average in every game that I play, but never perfect at anything.
Yeah, it's average. I'm just average.
Like, I'm great at Mario Kart, a game that most of the population doesn't care about. And then outside of that, I got nothing.
Yeah. I got tactical RPGs, that's about it.
Everyone I've ever played, I get stuck, I get mad, quit. Every single one. I don't think I've ever finished a tactics game to completion. Ever.
I love them.
I got
anytime I bring up Final Fantasy Tactics, I hear all the time, oh, I got stuck at one part, and I always know where it is.
You already know where it's at. Because it's
Ryubane's Castle.
It was so stupidly hard.
It is.
I couldn't get past it. It really is.
That is my only gripe I have with that entire game. I love that entire. That's probably my favorite Final Fantasy game. It genuinely is.
And it takes place in Ivalice. Yes, my favorite area.
Even though like all the Ivalices spread.
It's only that one and 12. Those are the 2 Ivalice games. I think. Is there another one? There might be another one.
Tactics Advances. They also take place in Ivalice. But
and then, this one's drawing inspiration from Ivalice, and I'm like, I'm back, baby.
But yeah, that in Tactus, that Ryobane's whole castle is like the only. It's honestly the biggest gripe that I have with the game, because, it's 4. I think it's like 4 or 5 fights that you do back to back.
Yep.
And they offer a save between every single one of those fights.
And
so if there's and if there's any of them that you can't do, there's no option to leave. So if you're stuck, you're stuck. You have to figure out a way win the 1v1 and then win all the fights after that, or you have to start the whole game over.
Right, because they don't set you up they don't set you up enough to where you can grind up certain things to make certain things good.
Oh, you can.
Well, you can, but you have
Believe
to.
you me, I smoke wide
Well,
graph.
but they don't give you enough information ahead of time to let you know
there's
as a
no
new player that this is about to happen. And if you've saved the game at any point to that point, it's too late. You can't go back. Stuck.
So, guys, if you ever go back to play that amazing game,
excellent.
Anytime you go into a castle area for a fight, either do 2 save files, or just don't save. Don't save it.
Just play
one of the two.
Just straight up go.
Just be ready for it, because oh my god, yeah.
Don't be the guy like me that saves at every save point that is ever given to you, and I'm like, oh, that was a bad call.
Yeah. But no, that fight is a doozy if you go in with.
And I would even call myself like a pretty well off like RPG turn-based game player, and I got fucked in that spot. Like, I was not ready.
Yeah, I think I made that mistake once. But one of the jobs that I had leveled was Monk, who has a self-heal, so I was able to get through it. But that's one of those fights. You make that mistake once and just never again.
There's a game that did it worse to me, though. That was worse than that one, and that was Chrono Cross. I don't know if you've ever played through Chrono Cross.
I've played Chrono Cross, yeah.
So,
I want to like that game. I want to love that game.
First of all, it is a very, very long game.
Yes.
It is so long. That game, at no point in time would I ever call easy. I think that game is one of the most challenging RPGs I've ever played.
It can be very, very hard.
And the thing that sucks about that game is, in order for you to ever get the full experience, you have to play through the game at least twice, because you can't collect every single character in one run.
Even playing through twice,
they do say it's going to take 3 if you do it perfect.
If you do it perfectly, you can do it in 2.
It's 2 that you can do it?
You can, but you have to be you essentially have to play with the guide open.
Right. The thing that sucks about that game is we have another situation similar to the Flygraph Castle thing, but it happens about 2/3 of the way into the game. There is a specific fight that you have to play against, like, it's a paladin guy.
Is this the switching part without getting into spoilers?
Yeah, you end up in the other. Yeah. You do that.
The switching part.
The switching part, and then you have to fight against the guy that is the heroic white character that is told to you is super powerful from the beginning of the game, but you don't think, oh, this is never going to be a problem, and then it is, and I literally couldn't pass it.
Yeah.
No matter how many times I tried, no matter how many guides I looked up, no matter how hard I went back and did it, I couldn't. And I said, I literally got stopped 30 hours into my playthrough. And I'm like, this is horseshit.
Yeah, it is. It can be a very challenging game. It also uses an unconventional leveling system, too.
Yes, it does.
Which can make things quite hard, because you can get... It's like every boss gives you a star level.
Yep.
Which gives you, I think it's like HP and then maybe 3 or 4 primary stats. But outside of bosses, I think it's 2 or 3.
You actually can't level up. Ba-ba.
I know they have mini levels, but even then I think they limit how many you can get between each major level.
Yeah, I've honestly there's no grinding in that game.
There really is none. Yeah.
So if you can't figure out the pieces to the puzzle that you need, you don't win.
No.
Like,
no.
that's why, in
You're
my
done.
opinion, it is one of the most difficult RPGs I've ever played. Because not only is that challenging, that fight, almost every single one up to that makes you really sweat.
Yeah.
Like, they're hard.
Yeah, I think for early game, there's a summon you can get early that can make it a little bit easier, but you still got you again. That game does a really good job with the puzzle piece boss fights.
It's honestly like
that's really what it is.
And I'm not saying anything bad about that game either. Like, I think it's honestly one of my absolute favorite games that Square Enix has ever put out. Because they're like, hey, this game...
That's why they redid it.
Right. They're like, hey, here's this game that has 60 playable characters. Have at it. And you're like, what? And then you have to figure out how to...
I think 10 of them are effectively joke characters.
Yeah, they're like
one of them
useless.
straight up is called Fungi, and his whole existence is just to be a pun.
Yeah, none of them are super good. Like,
Fungi.
There's the
He's
dog.
A mushroom.
The dog that's like a super pudgy little plaything that you get. Pushel. Get him at the very beginning of the game. Yep. You don't use him after that.
He's nice because it's like, oh hey, yeah, no, I have a third character now. Yeah. Right.
And then
that's about it.
And then you throw him away. While I'm on the subject of weird leveling games, one of my ultimate gripe games that had a beautiful story, by the way, is Final Fantasy VIII. Because Final Fantasy VIII, for those of you that have never played it,
90% of the game at the lowest level you possibly can.
The enemies level up with you throughout the entirety of the game. And so I actually finished the game at level 11. I refused to level up unless necessary, and played through the entire game at the lowest possible level I could get, and finished the game at level 11.
Yeah, isn't it pretty much up until the final dungeon? I think it's every other enemy, including bosses, use that leveling system. And then the last dungeon is just all right, now we need to have minimum.
I don't even know that it was I think it's just the final. I think, but even then, like I said, I finished the game at 11.
But yeah, with the junction system, it still doesn't even really levelers are irrelevant.
You gain max level magics at level 1 if you play it right. And it's I
actually tried playing that game like that for the whole start, where I legit would not actually defeat any enemies outside of bosses.
That's all I did.
Because all you need to do is just you're a card, you're a card, you're a card, you're a card.
Steal
now you're triple cast.
Right. Steal their stuff, run away from the fights, and I'll only fight the final bosses.
Fight bosses.
And you're good. And then you beat the entire game. But the story is fantastic.
Story is very good.
I think Squall is a useless, dry character, but the rest of the game is really cool. Everybody says that Cloud is sad boy. No. Squall is sad boy.
I don't remember if it was also in the Japanese version of the game, but in the States, it's always just pfft, whatever, and then every character catches on, and they all make fun of him, just yeah, whatever.
Right.
We know what you're gonna say, Squall.
Right.
Let's just go.
Right. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest right here on this too. That game has the least interesting cast of characters, in my opinion, out of the entire series.
Now that you say that,
they're the least interesting of all of them. And it's
even the FF1 crew is more interesting.
Right. They are. What's funny is Laguna, who is a character you only get for a small portion of the game, in my opinion, is the best, most interesting character of the entire series. And I was just wow, that hurts. Outside of that, Renoa, really cool character, and the rest are trash. Because she has some interesting character development, but the rest of them,
you don't really get much of anything.
She really didn't, though. She was hey...
Quistis does get the best cutscene.
She does.
By far.
Right. It's
she gets to machine gun down a giant robot spider
right
from a submarine.
Right.
It's pretty badass.
I just think that all the rest of the characters are really, really bland.
They are kind of.
It was a poor representation of a Final Fantasy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that if we could have skipped that one and just went straight to 9, we would have been just fine. Like,
and 9's a good. I like 9. I wish I played it more.
9 is like a fairy tale to me.
But here's the thing: it's also kind of like the culmination of every game before.
Yeah,
and that's one of the big reasons I like. And the story still is really good with that one too.
There's a lot of like fan theories out there that suggest that Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 9 take place in the same universe.
Well, yeah, they use all the same. They use all the same tropes.
Right, they use all the same tropes.
The Four Fiends are in it, Garland's in it.
And then they say that there's another world.
Yeah.
And there's like people that get pulled from the other world. So it's like almost like they are the same universe connected. Actually, speaking of that, recently I found out that they finally confirmed this, which I had always thought, oh yeah, this is probably it, but they confirmed it, that Final Fantasy 7 and 10 do take place in the same. Which
with the Shinra Kid tie-in,
that whole thing, and then like the summoning orbs and all of the like orbs that Shinra created. Basically, they're saying that like, so the fun theory that goes with this is that 10 takes place far in advance to 7. 7 comes out way later. Shinra is basically the ancestor that created the Shinra Corps, but this is on a different planet. Like, Shinra eventually figured out how to travel, because if you hear about all the stuff in 7, they're like, oh, our ancestors came from a different planet. And so they're basically like, the idea was that Shinra developed technology that eventually allowed him to...
So, like, Shinra was effectively the OG Cetra.
Right, and they basically are saying that what would have been the summoners of 10 later became the, like, ancients of what would later come in 7. So they're saying that, like, Yuna would be, quote-unquote, the ancestor of, like, Aerith. Like, something along those. And I was like, I'm here for this.
Fun.
I was like,
regardless of whether it's canon or not,
I like this.
Those are the fun fan theories.
I like game theory. But that's just all it is, a game theory.
We're gonna get in trouble for Matt Pitt.
Yep, we are. We stole his shit. I like that. That was really fun. That's all really fun. I really need to go back and just finish. I really need to. I'm sad now.
Oh,
I'm sad. I need to finish. It's fine.
You're making all of them sad.
It's fine. Hey, you know what I didn't do at all during this entire video or last video?
What?
Anime facts. Can I drop you with some?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop you with some.
Do it.
Because I got them good shits. Okay, so Fairy Tail creator. I don't know if you're aware that he had the Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and the other one, Eden Zero.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so all of those look... You know how he has the characters that transfer?
They look almost exactly the same.
And they transfer from anime to anime to anime.
Yeah.
He's coming out with an anime number 4, and it's called Dead Rock. And I can show you the image right now of his newest Natsu character. He is going to basically make a 4th anime that looks identical to all of his predecessors once again. And I'm like, yes! I think this trope is so funny. Like, I'm okay with this.
My problem with it is I'm not gonna watch it.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm probably just not gonna watch it.
Right.
I do like that look of my waifu in here.
I love this. I'm so happy about it. I'm like, just give it to me again, please. Like, I'm ready.
She even has one of the freaking armor sets.
Yep. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like, it's such an overused thing for him, but like, it's literally his only thing that
He makes bank off of it.
So, coming from an artist perspective,
Yes.
if you're good at drawing something, keep drawing it. Make as much money off of it as you possibly can. Like, haters are gonna hate, but the lovers are gonna be there for you every step of the time.
Yeah.
And it's gonna work. And I loved Eden Zero. I thought it was really good. I liked Rave Master. I thought it was really good. Fairy Tail was the best one, but like, it's fine. Do it again, dude. Do it again. So, moving into the next thing.
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli. I want to say Ghibli, but I know that's not how you say it. But Studio Ghibli, so they're coming up with, so Miyazaki has agreed to make one more movie. He's done this many times in the past. I know that he's probably going to keep saying this until he literally dies. He's probably going to continue to do this in and out of retirement thing. But he is apparently making one more movie. This is his last movie, quote unquote. He is doing this movie with no trailer and no updates.
So he's just gonna throw it out there.
He's just going to have it happen.
Love it. I love that.
So nobody's gonna know anything about it. Nobody's gonna know what to expect about it. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna show up in the movie theaters, and people are just gonna go. And I am so excited for this.
Part of me really hopes that the movie is just an hour-long soapbox rant. Just straight up from him.
Oh, man. And the thing is, with all Studio Ghibli movies, I said it the way I want to say it. Yeah, Studio Ghibli. So the thing with all Studio Ghibli movies is that they don't make any fucking sense most of the time. You have to watch it over and over and over to really get the full scope of it. Because Miyazaki is super good at hiding his narratives. And like in Totoro, there's like all this like talk about it's actually the girls die at the beginning, and it's like this whole like spiritual thing that they go on, and the cat bus is essentially the ship to the Deadlands or whatever. I don't know. That's what I've gathered from people. But like, I've watched half of his movies and left it going, what? Like, what was that? It was cool.
I feel good inside, but what?
It was cool. And I left Grave of the Fireflies with no tears in my eyes, by the way. I don't know if I'm like, I don't even know what to say about that one. Like,
that's
yeah, everybody else is like, shocking. I cried my eyes out. And I went, Yeah, I know. Me, the like super emotional guy, didn't get emotional in that movie. I think I laughed. And I think that's even worse. I think that's even worse. Because everybody's like, this is a super sad movie. And I'm like, but I already know what the plot's gonna be. So I'm not crying. Like, I don't know.
But to laugh? Get out of here.
I think I laughed mostly because it was one. I didn't feel it, so it's funny to me that I didn't. I wasn't laughing at the movie.
I hope that's what it was.
It was something else. But yeah, I'm excited about this whole like Studio Ghibli movie.
Ghost Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah, we'll probably go see it together, I'm guessing. I would be 90% positive that. The next thing. Since you know more mangas than I do, you've probably heard of this already. But there is an anime coming out on the 4th of July that is called The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses.
I have been reading that one, yes.
So, I know nothing about it, but it sounds like a cute girl does cute things anime.
It's not.
Really?
It is more drama romance.
Oh, well, perfect.
It's very sweet.
I am excited for it,
and
because
it's more or less the relationship starts with what's on the tin.
And it sounds so cute.
It is.
And I'm ready for cute girls do romance.
It's a romance.
Cute girl does romance. I'm here for this.
It really is. It's so adorable.
Like, and along those lines, I started watching Comey Can't Communicate until my Netflix account disappeared because Netflix is a jerk. And, you know, they're like, oh, if this isn't your household, you no longer have Netflix. So we've been...
I haven't checked that in a while.
We've been bumming Netflix. We've been bumming Netflix off of Allison's sister, and then they finally canceled it on us.
Yeah.
So
Way to go, Netflix.
I'm gonna have to buy
Great
Netflix.
Plays.
Yeah. and I was watching Komi's Can't Communicate, and I was enjoying every step of it, because that's another one of those, like, similar to this, I think, like, kind of cute girl does romance in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah, it's starting to go downhill. They kind of need it, at least with the manga. Show's fine. Show is covering all the fun stuff still.
Right.
But with the manga, it's needs to stop. It's getting to that point.
It got repetitive.
It's not that it's getting repetitive, it's just getting to be too much.
Like, it's almost like how...
Like, it's like the main characters...
One Punch Man should have stopped at season 1, because doing a season 2 is just repetitive.
Well, it's not with that. Like, well, yeah, I guess. I don't know about that one, but I can tell you, at least with the romance ones, when they get together, yeah, you can go a little bit further with it. Now with the manga, it's at that point where
right.
like, and it's just like, okay, yeah, like, please, you need to stop.
Just stop there.
Like, you need to stop now. You need to get to the conclusion.
We don't need a run-on sentence.
Yeah, and
okay.
that's what it's starting to get.
One Piece.
You almost got through it. You almost got through recording.
I almost got through it. Here's another anime that I've not watched. Things keep popping up about it, but I'm hearing a lot of praise about it, which is Vinland Saga.
That is one that it's me.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the Viking one, right?
Yes, it's the Viking one.
My brother watches that one though, and he pushes that one on me a little bit.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about it. And I've heard a lot of praise.
Yeah.
One specific thing just came out that said that it is incredibly accurate to the manga. Like,
that's always
like
nice.
They have done like almost step-by-step paneling, which I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like one that's really good to the source material. So good for them. And I don't know who's producing it. I think it's Mappa. I think. Which again, some of their shows are hit or miss for me, but they've been doing really good lately. Good for them.
At the end of the day, it's not always studio, it's the staff on it.
Well, yeah, and that's true too. Like, but I really don't like when a studio changes halfway through, because then they start up.
Yeah.
And that could be, I hope that's not going to be the case with this, because if you end up with like a couple of really good seasons and then all of a sudden somebody else takes it and then they like screw that, 7 Deadly Sins, then you...
there's plenty of shows that do that.
But actually, I think one of them's on my list of notes here. I think it might be the next... Oh, it's not. So apparently there was I don't know anything really about this, but there was a live action, not safe for work, Chainsaw Man that came out. And I was like, huh.
That's horrible. That's absolutely appalling. What's it called?
Apparently it did really well. And I was like, yes, I needed to know that. Because they didn't...
Not that it exists, just that it's doing well.
Because they didn't renew season 2
of
Chainsaw Man yet. So now that there's this live action one and it's like scoring big hits, I'm like, this is okay. I'm cool with it. This was the next one on my list. So, the creator of Tokyo Ghoul says that it was a failure. He says that it was not a success. Actually, I don't know if it's a girl or guy.
Like the show or
the manga?
Oh.
Or the show. I don't know if it says that the...
It just says in general, we
Tokyo Ghoul wasn't a success. It says manga creator. And I was like, I understand where they're going with this, because, you know, when they skipped so much material from the manga and they kind of rushed it, and season 1 was like a freaking hit, and then season 2 and 3 just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And I get it. But it's funny that they should say that, because according to the internet, the #1 most listened to anime music ever was Tokyo Ghoul's music. And I was like...
It did slap.
And I was like, that's actually funny. Like, you have literally the greatest anime opening music, undisputed, because it is the most listened to. And then they're saying Now this failed. So
That's like one win with a bucket of L's.
right, that's kind of what it is.
Here's your bucket of L's with the dub on top.
Like, you did good, you got your name out there, make us something better. Like, I don't know. That sucks, because he probably, they had a really good thing going for him. It's just the studio fucked it up. In my opinion, the studio is the one that failed. So that's one of those ones where they should make a Tokyo Ghoul reboot, and it would probably do really.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens, though, when you try to rush something out. No. Punch effect as well.
I only have a couple more on here real fast, but they're not. Actually, I don't even need to cover these ones. They're pretty minor. We can do the question here at the end of the episode and call it good.
Let's do it.
All right, George, this one's you. This one's you.
This one's me. This one's me. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, this is a long read.
Oh, no.
I don't know if I'll be able to answer. In My Hero Academia, which quirk would you most like to have? Which would have the most practical use in the real world?
Ah. Okay. Well, how much My Hero Academia do you actually know?
Freaking none.
Freaking none. So I'll be interested to see which character you pull out of thin air and try to
look around the room.
Right, like which one do you know? Which one do you not know? So I think for practical uses, because this is one of those one. Well, which one would I most like to have? Is the first part of that, right? So yeah. For most like to have. Man, oh man, because that's like, think just any basic superpower. They exist in the show. Most of them, because he pulls from a lot of like, he's a huge Marvel DC fanboy. Mm-hmm. So he's basically like, one of his characters is he shoots tape out of his elbows. That's a thing. So he shoots tape out of his elbows. And
so what you're saying is I could just pull something out of my ass and probably be right?
Yeah, he shoots tape out of his elbows and he latches them to things like Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man's his favorite Marvel character. He's not a character that like is super.
That's such a clever way to do that,
right? Yeah, he basically was like, yeah, no, this character is modeled after Spider-Man. So because he's sticky tape too. So like he sticks to things, and I was like, all right, yeah, no, that's cool, that's cool. They have a character. I'm saying this is gonna be my one for practical use. Now, it goes a little ecchi on this one. It's a girl that manifests anything that she has seen before. She can create it if she understands how it is made. Now, she is very intelligent. So it's one of those ones that like she looks at something and pretty much knows how it's made. But when she manifests it, it comes out of between her chest, essentially. It's more like
because of course it does.
Because of course it does. So she can create any real world device, and sometimes like that even includes like medicine. She can understand how to make it. It is literally just a power of like creation that she can just make endless amount of things or until her energy is. So she pulls out a freaking cannon out of her chest at one point. Like, it exists, she can make it. So that is a very, very real world power, I think, that would work really well. Because it'd be a situational thing, like power of creation. But, I mean, in terms of, like, things that I want to do, I mean, we're going, like, the powers of, like, light and... So, like, I mean, just pick one, you know?
Honestly, with powers, I usually just say flight.
I mean, it'd be just go where you want to go.
That's just a fun, convenient thing to have, and hopefully
I'll have to
get in trouble with the law.
I'll have to show you some of the more ridiculous ones that they have, but like, I mean, like, there's the one girl that like, it's actually that pop right above Samurai Jack up there, that says Midnight. She has like. Her own pheromones become like a perfume that causes people to get knocked out. It's like noxious gas. Like, it smells really freaking good. Like, because she's like that character. And it's like, all right. But I mean, my boy All Might has, I'm hero because hero stuff. He's basically Superman, but I like that. I like my guy. Sorry that
I know you like that.
Sorry,
I'm just totally ignorant on that.
You just don't know that show.
I just do not know that show.
You don't know that. That's okay. Or you can just be Bakugo, who just blows things up. So there you go.
Nope, not gonna say that.
Not gonna blow things up. All right, cool. All right, everybody. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed our gaming rant. I mean, that's really what it turned into.
That's pretty much what it was.
It turned into gaming rant. We're just a couple of RPG fanboys, and we like to talk about those kinds of things. We didn't really talk about any other genre. It was just RPG, mostly.
Yeah.
That's where we like to be. Live in the fantasy world, damn it! Live in the fantasy world. And then use turn-based combat to satisfy all your needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Guys, I didn't say anything like that. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed episode 10. And I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day.
That's my line. Have a lovely evening, everybody.